Guys, what's going on? It's Philip with Trade Genius. Okay, so we're going to do a midweek update on Bitcoin price action and talk about where that's going. I'm also going to show you guys some market cap charts that are going to kind of discuss where we are in terms of like the altcoins. But before we get into that, again, real briefly, summer special number one. I don't talk about these a whole lot, but this one's like a really marked down deal. You're going to get the signal service. You're going to be with us in the room for rates that we just don't simply offer. So check that out, summer special number one, tradelikeagenius.com. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into today's video.
Trade Genius.
All right, so as I said in previous videos past, and we're kind of there now, we're going to be pushing up into these trend lines. And let's take a look real quick here at this chart. Actually, I have the trend lines drawn a bit more precisely here. So as we said, once we were going to break above 6,800, right, we had this volume void in here, and volume voids typically tend to have price move through them very quickly, whether it be up or down, like you saw here, right? So now we're back into this area of resistance. This area here, now this, I'm going to tell you right now, the concern I have here, and it's a concern that's been plaguing Bitcoin all the way down, is that we get to these points of critical support, or in this case, resistance, in this bear cycle, right? And we seem to attack it, and then we make a second attack, and those second attacks tend to, if they fail, really push price down. The only exception recently, and this is why I said I liked this previous bottom better than others, is that we actually did that failure. You see how you have that second failure and it rolls over. However, the equilibrium shifted. We really saw some buy pressure come in and overwhelm the equilibrium of the sell supply. So that was very bullish, probably one of the more bullish things we've seen since December, as far as overcoming a double failure like that, and in relatively quick order. But again, we've seen a lot of times where we come up to these trend lines and we fail to break above them. So I'm not uber bullish yet. This was very bullish. It's enough to start the reversal pattern on a as far as overall cycles go, get back into an up cycle. But in reality, we really have to get past this volume. That's really important. And in fact, you're probably going to get an optimal short entry just above this level here, because what's going to happen is you're going to see, I would not be surprised to see price actually run up to that 7,800 level. And what's going to happen is these stops are going to get hit, and you're going to get a little bit of a spike up, right? And then you're going to probably see something like a swing failure high on that swing failure pattern, and then roll over. And that's actually a real good spot to short. So the 7,800 to 8,000 area, I know it's a $200 range, but somewhere in there, and then you can drill down to the smaller charts. That'd actually probably be an optimal place to take a stab at a short if you're swing trading this. I don't expect, if we did go up there, I would expect somewhat of a retrace. First test would be to retest this volume node here in this 7,600 to 7,400 area and see if that holds. If we truly have a bull market, that area should hold, and then we break higher. Then we can start talking about some higher levels that we haven't seen in a few months. But for now, that's what I'm looking at. I think we have enough legs to surge a bit higher. Getting up to that level, we may start to see some bearish divergences on the RSI, and that would be really, to me, a big flag that this move's probably going to exhaust a little bit and regroup. And so you could take a stab at a short there. Again, that's for swing trading. Longer term hold is intact to go higher. So with that being said, wanted to switch over to the alt market. A lot of people are wondering what's going on. Is it alt season yet? They've largely been getting crushed. You notice Bitcoin came up here, made a spike, and then moved up, and has largely held those gains. And in fact, we're looking fairly bullish here. We may break out higher by the time you see this video. And you notice that the other day the dollar pairs followed suit, LTC USD, ETH USD. But then what happened? None of them held the gains, and they fell right back over. You're going to see this cycle. We've seen this about 3 times now since 2017. You're going to see a strength in Bitcoin, Once Bitcoin, because it's the easiest on-ramp for to get into the alt market, you're going to always see Bitcoin strength first, and then it starts to roll over into the alt market. Sometimes that takes a while, sometimes that takes 48 hours. But what you can look at is, one, check out the video we posted a couple days ago on the Ethereum and alt chart. That has some pretty critical trend lines that have marked tops and bottoms in the alt cycle. But also market cap. If you notice market cap, this is total market cap, Bitcoin and everything. And trend lines, I like market cap charts because of the trend lines. Once that trend line breaks, you generally see, and this works up and down. So I haven't marked every single instance, but just for clarity, just showing how this, when you do get that trend line breakdown, generally those sustain fairly decent moves, right? So you want to see a clean break. So for the market cap, as far as this chart is now just what the dominance is, right? Bitcoin compared to the other alts. So again, Bitcoin holds a trend line, and that trend line breaks, boom, you have the start of an alt market here. You have a start of an alt bull market here, and one here, all right? And so what are we looking for? Kind of the same thing here. Now, these, you notice, are getting, these cycles are getting smaller and smaller. So will we get another smaller bump? That remains to be seen. But to even remotely get, you don't want to catch falling knives, although there are going to be some decent support and resistance levels that we have covered in the room. But really, you want to see a break of this trend line at this point to see any kind of sustained bounce. And when I say sustained bounce, you're talking like, 3 to 4 week type of bullish move across alts. At that point, everyone's going to be completely going bonkers about alt season again. And the reason why they do is just because there's large gains, but it's a highly speculative space. Let's face it, most of these coins just aren't going to be around for the long term. But that being said, that time isn't here, and there is time to use those to grow. Ultimately, in our opinion, BTC, which is what you want to have over the course of the next 12 to 24 months for really a lot of appreciation. So anyway, that's pretty much where we're at this week, or at this point in this week, guys. Just wanted to kind of cover what you've seen as far as Bitcoin, and also how that relates to the altcoin markets. Again, multi-coin charts, you can see just everything's really kind of taking a bath. But we are getting to some critical levels on the altcoin, so we will be sending out some alt signals as we hit those. We're just going to be pretty defensive on our stops, because alts, the other thing you have to keep in mind is the alt season that ended in the middle of 2017. We're kind of in the middle of 2018. And if we go back to that chart real quick, and then we'll wrap this up, that was a very prolonged bear market. So that's this area here, okay? And that's what you don't want to get stuck in at this point. So that's why the stops would be fairly tight at this point, catching any of these major support levels. But they should bounce for, a decent amount of gain. But whether that's the big bounce into a, 100% to 200% type rally, that's what you have to be defensive about. So there's always a lot of opportunities to get back into those bounces once they happen. If you decided to take quick profits or get stopped out on a pullback, defending against a lower long-term downtrend in alts. So, and we'll cover that as the market kind of progresses. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. Appreciate the support, and I will see you on tomorrow's video. Take care. Bye.
Trade Genius.